we invite them as well, no doubt, right? We spend time there as well, but the primary remit, legally on paper, what we're set up for is to invite the wider population, the non-Muslim public, because we're a minority. Muslims are what, 3-4 million amongst 65, 70 million non-Muslims in the UK. So we're surrounded by lots of non-Muslims. So this is where the money is being spent on producing booklets, materials, literature. I shared some with Brother Faraz, we posted some up, getting hold of Qurans. We produce it, we kind of worked on a Quran called the Clear Quran, simple translation, English translation. We have those books, we've got other books and materials. All of this is where the money is spent, right? These sort of Dawah training courses, new Muslim care, we've got systems in place. So if someone takes Shahada, right, in the Street Dawah, or at the mosque, or your neighbour at work, or somebody, anybody, if they take Shahada, you can hand them over to us and we mentor them. We teach them all the basics, right? You can also bring them to the mosque as well, of course, but if they want a bit of phone support, like what's the next step? What do I do? Okay, here's the next pointer. This is how you make wudu. These are the steps. There's a book you can read. Here's the procedure. This is how you pray. And we teach them Fatiha. We help them memorize. We take them on a journey, inshallah, within 12 weeks. So that service or system is there, free of charge for you guys to access, if there's any shahadas. Because we don't want to leave these new Muslims on their own. And obviously the slide is showing a bit of a chaotic time, since 9/11. You can see the media onslaught against Muslims, right? Totally. I can't remember the statistics now. I think it's for every, one good article or reporting about Islam, there's 23 negative ones out there. CNN, Fox, Telegraph, BBC, they've been, really, to be honest, it's been an attack on Islam, right? Especially since 9/11. Even before that, you could say, right? And they don't understand Islam. They're not Muslims, so it's upon us. The need for dawah is great, brothers and sisters. There's no doubt about that. If we're not going to be giving dawah, then who's going to give it? Is it going to be Telegraph, BBC, CNN? They're not even Muslims, right? So it's upon the Muslims, right? All the prophets, they're no longer with us. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's passed away. Yeah, all the prophets are no longer with us. They can't give the dawah. The responsibility is on us. We need to carry the baton, if you like. Keep the dawah going, if you like, right? And also importance, there's interesting things in the Quran. There's many stories about prophets in the Quran, many stories, right? But if I ask you, brothers and sisters, tell me about the salah, the zakah, or the fasting of the prophets. Can you do that? Can you do that? Can you tell me the details? No. Brother's shaking his head, he's saying no. There's no mention of Prophet Yusuf's salah. How did he do it? Was it 5 daily prayers? Was it 10? Was it, how was it exactly done and which ways? The zakah, the charity, the fasting, none of it is mentioned in the Quran. But there's many stories of dawah. That is critical in the Quran, many stories. How did Prophet Musa alayhi salam go to the tyrant, Pharaoh, with a gentle speech? Gently he called him in a good manner to win over the hearts, right? How did Prophet Yusuf give dawah to his family, his brothers? They oppressed him, they threw him in the well, he was imprisoned. How did he give dawah? Prophet Nuh alayhi salam, how did he give dawah? In open and in secret. He went to the communities, he secretly advised people, he's building this ark, right? Because the floods are going to come. So there's all these stories, so many stories, many, many examples. In fact, the scholars of Islam, they say that 1/3 of the Quran is stories about dawah, right? 1/3 is stories about dawah. So if you're going to give dawah now, brothers and sisters, it explains the importance. If you're going to give dawah, be it online, be it street dawah, be it exhibition, whatever form you do, if you're going to give dawah, you're automatically connecting to 1/3 of what the Quran is preaching or teaching, right? And as we know, as Muslims, the fruit of all knowledge is very important in Islam. There's no point gathering all the knowledge. The fruit of all knowledge is actions. That's where you get the reward. Allah doesn't want us just to solely memorize the Quran and not act upon it. That wouldn't make sense. If the Quran says in Surah Baqarah, do not eat the flesh of swine, and you start eating pork, you're going against the Quran and going against the commands of Allah. So this is very critical, right? So the dawah is huge in that element, right? Brothers, if you come and take the seats at the front, please, yeah, and most of the front, that'll help me, inshallah. So just move forward a little bit. So this is really important. It's very interesting in the Quran, all these stories and like examples and information. It's all a lesson for us, for us as Muslims. So why do you think we should give dawah, brothers and sisters? Why should we give dawah?
Some people have like a negative connotation.
Yeah, to remove misconceptions, all that negativity. Yeah, that's very important. But what do you think is the primary reason?
Pleasing to Allah.
Pleasing to Allah, exactly. Right. That's what I mentioned in the beginning. the sincerity. That's what I want you guys to focus on. There's many reasons you could do it for, to remove misconceptions. You may do it for many here and there reasons, right? But the primary, foundational, most important reason we give dawah is to seek the pleasure of Allah. Allah has ordered us to do it, in chapter 16. And in the hadith in Bukhari, Prophet Muhammad said, convey from me, even if it's only one verse, right? One verse of the Quran. That is very, very critical, right? That we understand is what I was saying earlier. It's not about gathering loads of information and then holding on to it. You can give dawah, if you're ready, you're confident, you've got the knowledge, share it with non-Muslims, right? Because you want to get the rewards. So can anyone think of the rewards of dawah? Like some of the rewards that you could get, and what could be some of the famous hadith that talk about rewards? Anybody know any of it? I mean, there's one connected to an animal, a particular animal that was popular at the time of Prophet Muhammad. So what was the popular animal at that time? I mean, there was goats, camel. So there's the red camel. Does anyone know about the red camel? Do you know, brother, about the red camel? No. The red camel was the most prized possession at the time of Prophet Muhammad, the most prized one. In today's world, right, it's a bit of a crude analogy, but in this day and age, it's like the red Ferrari, or the red Lamborghini, red Bugatti. It's very valuable, right? So what the hadith talks about, it's actually in, where's the red camels one? Bukhari and Muslim, right? Sahih hadith. It talks about, by Allah, if a single person is guided by Allah through you, it will be better for you than all of the red camels. All of the red camels, in the plural. That's how that hadith talks about it. So imagine this reward that you're going to get. Somebody gets guided, and we don't know when they'll be guided. Maybe you give a booklet, a Quran or something, and then you pass away, you go to your grave, and that person reads the Quran, acts upon it, becomes a Muslim, it's in your scales. And that's where the second reward is, the sadaqah jariyah. This is phenomenal, right? Because basically, whoever is guided to a good deed will get a reward similar to the one that performs it. Again, if someone becomes a Muslim through your dawah efforts, you're the catalyst, the trigger, you gave them dawah, you gave them Quran, you shared something with them, right? When they start to do all the ibadah, so what do? They read Quran, they do their salah, good to their parents, good to their neighbours, giving charity. All the work that they do, they get rewarded as a new Muslim. But you get a share of the rewards as well, a sadaqah jariyah. So even when you're in the graves, brothers and sisters, you passed away, you're in the grave, good deeds are getting written down for you. The angels are witnessing more and more good deeds. And you could be standing before Allah with huge amounts of rewards that you don't even remember doing, but it's in your books, right? Many, many rewards. All those hajjis that are done, the umrahs, all the things that take place, all the worship, all the, giving money in charity, all the good deeds, all of it in your scales. So this is an amazing reward. Again, this should make us think, dawah is easy, guys. That's another point I wanted to make. Dawah is easy. Don't think of it as a difficult ibadah. If you're thinking of it as difficult, it's shaitan playing tricks with you. Because it's one of the easiest ibadahs, right? I would say that coming to the mosque and doing 5 daily prayers, it takes more effort. To get here for Fajr, get here for Isha, all the prayers in between. To manage to do that, right, would be harder, right? Even to get for 1 or 2, it takes more effort. Because you have to do many things for the salah. You have to make your wudu, maybe it's cold weather. Today we've got incredibly warm weather for Hull, right? But imagine it's a cold day in Hull, winter. Look at you're cold, you're dripping wet, maybe you're damp, right? You're trying to dry yourself with a towel, you're trying to have your khushu in the prayer, you have to memorize Fatiha. There's a whole list of prerequisites